Cool. So today I wanted to show you some things, just like to get you guys doing some drills. Because yesterday I talked about like all of the options that we can do. Now I want you guys, now that I know like where a lot of you are at, I do want to get you guys used to using some of the other options. So just to stream it, because I'm not actually 100% sure how to stream directly through Discord, I'll just show it on Twitch if that's okay. And I do have that set up. But, okay. You might have to mute me on the voice call. Oh, actually, I'll mute myself in the call, so I don't know how that's gonna work. Anyway, but when we get into this, okay. Just let me know when you can hear me or when you're watching, and then I'll just like show off a couple of things, and then we'll get into the rest of the lesson for today. Cool. Okay, so are we good to go?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. Cool. So first, I wanted to, because we went over the like grounded, falling, and rising aerials. So I just wanted to make sure that you're all familiar with like doing so. I wanted to get you guys doing some drills, like one in each category, just to get you guys started and what it could be useful for. And then that's going to tie into the rest of today's class, which is about neutral game, and we'll go over a set between Samsora and ZD, the Fox player. Cool. So first, we're going to go over grounded options. The one I wanted to get you guys doing is ground, float, and air, because it's probably, I'd say it's her most useful move, actually. So the classic, the training for this is to start doing it with Palutena on 17% on fixed damage, and then just start naring to combo her across the screen. So ideally you'll be able to do it like all the way across until she dies. Should be about like 20 hits or so. And then when you can do that, you'll know that you have like the like fastest nairs that you have possible. And then that's how you know like you're gonna be able to start doing like shield pressure, where it's completely safe on shield, because like say if you're not dropping your nairs fast enough, then like this nair isn't safe on shield and you're gonna get grabbed for that. It's great because and I updated the doc a little bit too, just to show a little bit about like why each of the options, like what are characteristic of ground options, what are the characteristics of falling options. Grounded options, basically when you do a smash attack, you're stuck in place. If you do a tilt or shield, you can't move anymore. So when you commit to an option, you are really committed to a ground option, except for Nair. All of Peach's aerials, you can still move, and you can shield right after, or you can do something else right after. So it's very good, a very good poke, where you can just throw it off on the ground and then go do something else. So you can Nair, dash back, and it lets you keep moving. And if someone runs into it, then you can get a humongous combo started. So Nair, down tilt, that's supposed to combo. So Nair, down tilt, Nair, you can do dare into fair. But with, like, standard easy one is Nair, down tilt, Nair, Nair into grab, and then you can back air. So make sure you can do Nair, down tilt, Nair, grab, and then also the Nairs across the stage, because it's very safe. It is safe on shield, gets lots of pressure started, so even if they shield, you can grab right after, and they have to buffer grab, otherwise they'll get a grab themselves. If they don't buffer something right away, then they get grabbed. Alright, so two drills is the combo drill and then also naring across the stage. Second, just I want you guys to get used to always getting at this height, around this height. So like the second box when you do your floats. So make sure you're always going to around this height. So you're not going like way up here. You're not like down too low or whatever. It is like just to get you used to like getting a consistent float height to make sure you're not like going up too high, and that you know exactly like how high to space your dares when you go for those. Very important to also get used to fast falling directly out of float, and it's sort of like the precursor to jump cancel fast falling. I'm not going to go over that yet. We might I might do like a quick tutorial, but there's videos on that exist if you want to know how to do that. But for now, just get used to floating at this height and then fast falling down to the ground. And that's another thing that Samsora does a lot during this set, and it's like a very good neutral tool, because when you're here, you could dare, you cover a lot of space directly under Peach, and you also have your full fair length, which is like humongous. It's like goes all the way over here if you do like your float height correctly. So you threaten a lot of space just by being in this float height and going and being able to go back down to the ground, and you don't have to commit to any of those. So just get used to fast falling and floating down to the ground, and then just doing kind of a couple aerials in there. And then rising aerials are like pretty self-explanatory. You can just do like short hop fair, short hop bear. But what you another option that's like honestly not super useful is or it is actually rather useful, it's just more committal than her other moves, is reverse aerial, is rar bear, reverse aerial rush bear. So it's just like a quick pivot and then jump and bear, and then you'll get a back air in the opposite direction. That's good because like back air is very quick, high range, long range move. Not a disjoint, but it's a pretty long range aerial, whereas like nair, it's directly over her, but bear extends a little bit out, and it's like, I think it's 6 frames. So being able to put out a bear like over here is very useful in certain matchups where you need to have a longer range aerial, but your fair is just a little bit too slow. So the drills are naring across the stage. Just set Palutena to around 17 on fixed damage and nair. And then the bread and butter combos, make sure you can do nair, down tilt, nair into grab. And then just practice floating at this height and throwing out some aerials. Okay? And the reverse bear. Cool. So now I'm going to get into the set analysis. Yeah, so I'm going to get into the set analysis. So you don't have to keep watching on Twitch, just or as long as we're in the call, it should be fine. But yeah, so we're going to get into this if everything's clear, and yeah, just let me know if you know, you had any more questions or something else you wanted to work on or highlight before I switch over. All good? Okay.
I'm good.
Cool. All good. Cool. So I'll just get right into it then. So I'm only gonna do like the full set analysis, like the full analysis for game 1, because it can get pretty lengthy. I'm gonna be like stopping at certain intervals, and yeah, I'm gonna be stopping at certain intervals. Do you want me to share screen this also on Discord if that's better, or is Twitch okay?
This is fun for me.
I have a preference, yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'll just keep on doing this. Sweet. All right, so this is CEO Dreamland 2020. This was sort of like the last major before COVID hit, and even this tournament, it was like, should we really go? There was kind of a pandemic starting, uh, but they did end up throwing the tournament, or they did have this tournament anyway, and it's in Florida, so Samsora is in Florida. You can easily go. And then we have ZD. This is actually winners finals, so he did make it here. Had quite a pretty good run because earlier on in the game, it was like he went on a very good run where he was being like top player after top player, and it was like, this is definitely the second best Peach, the second best Fox, probably the best Fox, and then kind of fell off for a bit. But he made kind of a return here, and one of his notable wins in this tournament was against. Why am I forgetting his name? Okay, second best Peach.
Ling Ling?
No, not Ling Ling. Or I mean, I would say like Ling Ling's definitely getting up there. Top Peach. Just googling it. Ling Ling Marin Crown. What the hell? Mutace. There we go. Mutace. He beat Mutace at this tournament. I don't know why I was forgetting that. So another very good Peach player at this tournament. So he definitely knows this matchup. And in this one, it was Samsora who 3-1'd him. So definitely showing that ZD's no slouch in this matchup, but also Samsora is just like kind of next level at this. Okay. So I briefly talked about it yesterday, and it was the importance of stage control. So in this match, I'm going to be going over like just how important stage control is into what your move choice should be, and also how Samsora is using his options versus what ZD's doing, or could be doing. Because in Smash Ultimate, how you have to choose your moves is sort of like in advance, because there is like the 7-frame startup, or the 7-frame input lag, which is added into just the base of Smash Ultimate. Not even online. That's just like in the game now that other versions did not have. It was just like a 2-frame delay, but now it's 7, so you're getting like a whole extra 5 frames. So it like nerfs reactive play a little bit, so you kind of have to choose your moves wisely based on what they're probably going to do. So that's why like I'll talk a lot about like the fair closes off space, like the threat range of this move. And it also puts a lot more importance on not overextending in certain situations. You don't want to just throw out moves really willy-nilly. You have to sort of control an area, control a space, and that's what focusing on stage control really does. And that's why Samsora won this set. So getting into it, he jumps up. He's like not sure exactly what ZD is going to do, so he jumps up to be able to fast fall down and contain the space. He doesn't pluck a turnip, and he doesn't run away to the opposite side of the stage. He just uses his movement to control this area of the stage, and ZD sort of establishes that he's going to be playing a little bit campier. So he fired lasers at the beginning and then kind of ran back over here, and sees Samsora's already going off the plat. So he jumped up, back down to here, and then is throwing a fast fall nair into this area. Yeah, so jumps up, fast fall, nair, and then he's throwing out nairs just like in this area where ZD is coming in. So he just took the space with his movement and throwing out those safe nairs. So like as I just went over in that little demonstration, so here it is. So he dashed back just in case ZD dashes in. He kind of does, so there he goes down to the platform, and Samsora is already ready with his nair. So that's the quick nair that I want you to be able to do. And then he dashes back right after it and avoids the forward air. And then so throws out the back air in case he landed right away, but ZD faded back. And then see, he backs off because he doesn't want to deal with this pressure. So this is a jump cancel fast fall nair now. So he's using his falling aerials against ZD if he dashes in. He did kind of expect ZD to be holding shield. Instead, he sort of runs away, not trying to commit to anything. But you see how he's weaving back and forth. So there he also did a ground float up air. So that was, like we said, counts as a rising aerial. He trying to anti-air the down air and then just sort of missed the timing. But he was still able to get his shield up, actually, even though he went for it. So it's very strong options just to be able to throw this out. So he knew the jump was coming. It's just that ZD did a full hop dare instead of a short hop dare is what happened. And he just lets go of his shield. Backs off, and then he's just using his movement. See, when he's up here, he can threaten with his down air. He can threaten with his fair all the way over here. He can do a fast fall nair. So just the threat of that is keeping ZD away. And then if he does rush in, then Samsora would be throwing out those kinds of aerials as pressure. Instead, since he doesn't want to commit to anything, he just fastballs down to the ground. Goes for a dash attack. And see, that was actually ZD going for another full hop dare, trying to counter the forward air, but he just, Samsora just did it fast enough and lower down to the ground where he whiffed. But if you notice, all of his moves that Samsora is doing are inside this little Pokeball. He's not aiming directly at ZD, he's just controlling this area of space. So he's just controlling the space. And then that was the first clean opening that he did. So I'll just go over that sequence again from the beginning, so it's like more smooth. So back air, nairs back and forth. Let's go of shield early instead of getting the grab, but here it's just controlling space. Okay, and then here he goes up, sees that ZD goes for the spot dodge, and then that's when he goes for his back air. So he waited for the spot dodge, and then got the first opening. And then on hit, like if you do a grounded, like a ground float back air, you can combo that into down tilt, but because he did a falling one, you don't get a combo off of it. So instead he starts his dare pressure, and then ZD actually spot dodges again, and then doesn't really get a combo off of it, but he has the stage control. And see, that time, yeah, so a lot of that first, just leading up to that first opening was controlling space and then waiting for that one opportunity where, okay, he committed to a spot dodge. Now that is one of his grounded options. So he did a falling back air to counter that. So now we're getting into the stage control bit. So he got that one hit, actually a little bit further back. So he got that one hit. And now even though he went for this fair there, he did it as he was grabbing the ledge, so he's able to dash back a little bit. And then he kind of, commits to it a little bit too hard. He drops the up air, and then he floats again, so he should have either held shield or rolled away. So that's just Samsora choosing the wrong option, but the fundamentals are still there. He went for the fair, and then he went back to be able to cover the option. So he was wrong there, but the fundamentals are still there, and he got hit, but even notice now he's not forcing his way onto stage. He jumped up on ledge, and if he decided to hold forwards to try and take back stage right away, then he would have got hit by this back air, because ZD is a very good player. He was ready. Instead, he fades back on this because he realizes he's out of position. Now he's ready to chill in the corner. So he waits for that, and then when he's up here going for this down air, so he's chilling. He could choose to fade over here. So ZD has to be ready for that. Instead, he fades back. And then ZD actually overcommits to this. He goes for like an up air there and lets Samsora into the corner. So that's ZD's overextension there. And it really loses him position. And now we're back in center stage. Bit of a scramble. So here he actually held his float there. I wouldn't like really recommend going for like crazy options like this, but it shows how willing Samsora is to just sort of stay in this area of the screen when he doesn't really have a good read on how to get back. So he's good to just chill here, and then ZD actually just went all the way over. He gave up his position and let Samsora on. So that was ZD's bad there. And then, yeah, so after that, rounds the fair, and then, yeah, so gets the up air, and then catches that ground movement with the fair. And now he has stage position. So he went for the nair, and then faded back to cover the area again with the back air. So every time he moves into this area, he's already ready to go back over here, and that's what got him the stage control. So that's really where Peach's strengths as a character lie, where you keep them by the ledge, and like you hit them for it. So this is just a very good edge guard sequence. A lot of these are weak hits, so he can still tech them. And then tries to regrab the ledge and then gets hit by the fair. So on invincibility, he's not trying to force his way back on stage. He's chilling in this area, and ZD actually lets him all the way back. Yeah. So a bit of a scramble, goes for the down tilt, just using safe moves. Okay, and there he did miss space the forward air. He did a little bit too close, and ZD, instead of dashing back and forth there, he decided, oh no, I'm just going to hold shield and be ready to parry this. What Samsora should have done there was a nair. He just expected ZD to be dashing rather than staying in place that time. So yeah, he should have done a nair there instead of the forward air, but he does get punished for that. But yeah, the fundamentals are still the same. He's chilling out over here. He's not chasing after them. He's just taking up space. And when he realized that like ZD ran in, that's when he went for his dares. Okay, into the forward air. So you can see like how he's mixing up his movement also. Like it's very important to be mixing up your float heights. He always goes to that same height and then goes all the way back down. So fast falling down and going for lots of falling aerials, and then using his ground aerials to control space on the ground. So up and down and keeping ZD guessing. So comes down with the fair. So he that's another thing that you can use with your forward airs. So it's actually very ambiguous where Samsora is going to land here. He goes for a cross-up fair, actually. Usually you're ready to space the tip of the fair. This time, crosses up, and then ZD's not ready to punish it. He actually goes for a jump, and then Samsora immediately throws a back air there, and then jump cancel fast fall nair. Another falling option ready to put shield pressure on, you know, ZD, who's staying on the ground. So again, falling aerials versus ZD's ground pressure, ZD's grounded options. So this fair here is very good at catching a ledge. So he's at over 100%, so he has less ledge invincibility, and Samsora has the read on him that he's going to be holding ledge still. So he throws out the fair and does get it. So that's a good coverage that you can do covering ledge options. So even if he doesn't get that fair, he stopped it early enough where he can immediately dash back. So what ZD would have had to do is recognize that he's already going for it and then just go for a get-up attack. But yeah, Samsora had that read that he's playing defensive. He doesn't want to make any, like, he's trying not to overcommit. So Samsora took advantage of that. So we'll see here, he didn't dash back again. He was just chilling out here, and that led ZD to just like he's behind. He has to make a play here, so he just kind of throws himself off stage, and it's like really bad for him. So that's ZD overcommitting into the corner again, and eats a lot of percent for it. So, and then now we're back to just controlling space. And that was actually an instance of a rising aerial that Samsora did. So, recognizing that he's going for empty hops and lots of falling aerials, it's harder to catch a quick character like Fox with these falling aerials, especially because Fox's Nair is very, very good. But the one time that ZD was like directly over him, he snuffed it out. Went for that rising aerial. So that's very good for him. Yeah, so ZD overcommitted into the corner again. And then even with this, yeah, so went a little bit off stage, but ZD's overcommitting. And now even here, saw that he'd landed, and then the jump cancel fastfall nair goes above and over him and is ready to take stage control. Even if he doesn't hit this, then yeah, so he took stage control with that. So you can see how he's aiming it. He's not like always directly going into and chasing ZD all the time. He's just closing off space. Yeah, so I want to see again how he was off stage there. So you can grab or up smash the side B. So just kind of knocks him out with back air because he spot dodged. And then clean coverage on the side B. And that was an up throw and turnip actually again, like you were saying, Angry Dad. Angry Dad. Up throw and turnip is very strong. So yeah. So these next couple games I'm probably not going to stop and slow as much. But you know, I'll still highlight a lot of the things that they're doing. It's not a very long set. Yeah. So again, he's giving himself more room. He's trying to play campier and snuff him out. But Samsora is ready. He's not overcommitting to anything. He's not chasing him. So against a defensive player, then this is really good of just like throwing out like moves in center stage. And trying to position yourself rather than like chasing right after him. So what's strong about going for these positional reads, or not even reads, just this positional coverage, is that even if they are being more aggressive, then they're going to run into these moves that you're throwing out, you know? So that is forcing ZD to sort of be more careful and choose his spots. Yeah. And see, even there, he didn't even overcommit. He didn't like throw out a short hop fair or anything when he was on the ledge to cover this forward air. So he threw the turnip just because he realizes he's been holding the stage. And then he just sort of jumps and covers it because he sees the jump, doesn't commit to the move. Because he isn't sure what option he's going to go for. He doesn't just go like, oh, I think he's going to jump, so I'm going to throw out a fair. No, he doesn't do that. He just makes sure that ZD is not coming back onto stage. That's it. And that's all you really need to do. And then he waited and then saw that he got the spot dodge. So you don't always need to go for ledge trapping as Peach. It's more about just preventing them from getting back onto stage. And that's unfortunate. The Nair lost to the up B, but the idea was there. See there, like he's always if he has stage control, he's always positioning himself to the left to make sure that ZD's not getting back on stage. And he got a huge combo off of it just for covering it. And this is just like his situational knowledge against Fox. Very good play there. Yeah, and then see, immediately he just uses movement to get back because ZD's not really throwing out a whole lot. So now ZD's overcommitting yet again. So even though he got that hit, but that could have been death for him again. But he does have to make a play now. So that was the up air catch. So he's finding these up airs to catching jumps even. Yeah, I can see how strong these just these float mix-ups. Just like cycling through, like going for fair, nair, and empty fastfalls. How strong it is if you can really just make sure you're fastfalling down to the ground. You can cover a lot of space. Okay. Yeah, he was trying to swag there, trying to get the Peach Bomber on Fox's side B, but can't always get what you want. And now, again, he's not chasing after him, he's not throwing out moves, he's just like, okay, I can just throw out moves in center stage because you're not doing anything at me. So he's just very comfortable with, like, Fox deciding not to pressure him. He's not overcommitting. Okay, up air, and then chases him up there. Cool. And then this game, actually, this is the one that Samsora drops, and because he does overcommit this time. He's getting a little, he just kind of wants to end the set. So he kind of does follow ZD into the corner, and a lot of puts himself in bad positions. So that's the rising nair. Yeah, so yeah, the up air just didn't have the read on it that time. ZD stayed on the ground, so he ate a dash attack for it. That was a shield poke. Yeah, but see here, right, this exchange, he put himself in the corner going for that fair. Z didn't grab ledge. He just sort of like, there's no reason to go for this forward air, basically. So he put himself in the corner in a very bad position, and then he plucked this turnip and then dashed right at him. So he dashed in rather than chilling out like he had been, and then just ate the nair into up smash. So the complete opposite of what he's been doing. So he got a lot out of just sort of like chilling out by the ledges and ZD coming to him. And that time he did dash all the way forwards rather than like mixing up with movement and stuff. He was just dashed in out of the corner. And now that he is behind, he really has to make sure he's controlling space. And see, that time he was standing right over here, and then he should have been a little bit further back. So he's getting a little too antsy now. Now he's throwing out reads. He's like, back air. Instead of following him, he's just assuming these things are going to happen, and he's eating more and more percent for it. Might work against like lower level players from time to time, but ZD is a very good player. So he's not just overcommitting to stuff all the time. Yeah, so now he's like a full stock behind. This is a really, really bad game for Samsora. He needs to get back to using his movement again, but like sometimes with Peach, if you're behind in the game, then you're like really losing. But he did start to come back to like the good style over here. So like using the back airs, coming back and forth, making sure that he has stage control. But ZD's just doing a better job of avoiding him, and then just unfortunate air dodge. But you should prefer, like, it's better to do like these quick nairs. Yeah, see, there you go. And then he just did it eventually, and then ZD ran into it. But it's better to get like that little chip damage and not overcommit to stuff. He's still being aggressive with his spacing. He's still like, I would still say Samsora is like one of the more aggressive Peaches. I'd call him aggressive. But he's still not overcommitting. He's being aggressive with his spacing, not with his moves. So if I tell you, like, you know, I want to see more aggressive Peaches, it's not like just throw out moves and like willy-nilly. It's more about controlling space, make sure you're staying those character lengths away so that you're always pushing them to the corner, because that's where Peach's strengths lie. Yeah, and then like very strong combo from ZD, like showing why he's like really top player. So 57% goes for a rising nair read. He just was like, okay, I think he's gonna jump, but you know, he didn't know he was gonna do the jump. He was like, I think he's gonna do it, so it didn't work out. And then it was like nair, dash attack, nair, back air off stage. It was very good. Cool. And then game 4. So already cleaned it up again. Assumed stage control, just using his movement. The dare caught the movement there and then opened up in a very good classic combo. So found the dare hit because he realizes ZD is running in. Again, low commitment option, and at 0%, Fox doesn't really get anything off of just a straight aerial over here. And then this is a more advanced combo if like you want to level up your game. So you can do dare into first hit of fair. So you do the fair fast fall, and it combos into the down tilt. And then you from the down tilt, then it's like standard Peach stuff. So he did Nair dash attack, and then that's clean 50%. So that's like something you can just 100% lab out. But if you notice, like this whole set, he didn't even get any of those long combos. That was the first like Peach combo that he got. There's a lot more of Peach's punish game that's just about like positioning and being in the right place at the right time. So that time, ZD put himself in the corner, falling fair against the up tilt. Okay, and ZD was nearing off stage. See, and he's always positioning himself to get back into the center stage, or like further into center than ZD. That time he did let him on, and then ate that Nair. Forward air to catch the grounded movement, and then finds a dash attack on the tech chase. Yeah, so just jockeying for position. Again, Samsora doesn't need to overextend. He's just throwing out safe turnips now because like ZD is like in complete camp mode. And the game that ZD won, it was Samsora overextending. But now that he's not doing that, it's like wow, he doesn't even know what to do right now, basically. And then now against Fox's jumps, instead of committing to like going for back airs and forward airs, because that's what has been getting ZD the openings, now he's using a lot of these rising turnips. So. And even now he's mixing in his movement. So that time it was turnip, up air. Yeah, it was turnip, up air, and then he throws a turnip up, and then even finds the up smash after that. Finds a back air, and then that's just from having the positioning, and he's off stage again. It's like... And like this game, it's like you wouldn't even think that ZD is like that top Fox. And game 3 to this one is like completely switched. And that's just from like Peach doing things that are non-committal, doesn't have to do anything. He's just staying center stage, mixing up his like fast falling and movement. So that drill that I was telling you to do, it seemed like, okay, why am I just fast falling now? But you see it in play here where Samsora is just constantly going up and down and mixing up where he's going to go. And like, is he going to go fair? Is he going to nair? Is he going to do a grounded nair or a falling nair, you know? Or even just empty landing like that. It's very important to mix up like where you're positioning yourself. Cool. And then let's just see. Yeah, so that time that was the overcommittal there. He moved a little bit too far onto the stage. And again, ZD is a top player. He's no joke. So he snuffed that one opportunity out. Nair up smash. Okay. And that time, even empty land grab, because remember in the first game he went for like power shield up smash when Samsora threw out a fair. So that time Samsora, he logged that. He was like, okay, time to grab instead. And that's another strength of the just fast falling. Sometimes, you know, if they hold shield, then you can just grab them. Cool. And then fast fall neutral air. Up throw turnip just to close him off, and then he was ready for the back air hits. And then that's the set. Cool. Yeah, so I tried to like link in all the stuff that was in the dock, like the drills that I got you to do. So do start using like your grounded nairs. He used those a lot in this set just to like throw out and then dash back, or you can even shield afterwards if they do go for a move. So really practice those grounded nairs. Even if it feels like it's not doing anything in a match, it's just like there just in case they run into you, and then if not, then you don't get punished for it anyway. And then the falling aerials, which is like start with the fair, just so you know that height, and then also just mix in like fast fall nairs and just empty lands, and then ground float up air is like your safest one. Just be able to just shield after that, and then rising turnips. And yeah, that is the class for today. Any questions?
I have some questions, like, it's not really related to this set, like, or this like a Ditto matchup or this particular matchup in particular. But how would you, like, if you're fighting like a Samus or someone who has good projectiles that like stagger you, how would you kind of pressure like that?
Right. Yeah, well, yeah. One of the reasons why I wanted to do this matchup specifically with Fox is because it doesn't throw out any of those like weird situations where like Shulk, for example, is very strong at just having like falling aerials, for example, and that's his whole game. He just falls at you with Nair and Fair because he has lots of range, right? Whereas Fox is that more standard character. So this is what I see as like Peach's standard game plan. Like this is what Peach wants to do. Against Samus, like you do have to understand what the tools of Samus are. So like if he's going for missiles, or if Samus is going for missiles, then you have to be ready to be in that range of going around and forward airing them or something like that. So, and we are going to go into a more projectile matchup, especially because Angry Dad has the villager. Thanks, Involve. Anyway, Angry Dad's villager friend. So we're gonna be watching tomorrow how Peach can deal with villager, and I chose this specific set because Samsora actually lost to this villager, and Ling Ling beat them. And this was an online set, but it can show you like the difference of like the play styles and how you should go for it. The fundamentals are still the same of like make sure you're just taking up space and not aiming directly at them, and rather than like chasing after them all the time, you have to be comfortable with just taking up space. How you go about it is going to be different. Like you might be using less Nair, for example, because like they have projectiles, they're not going to be up close, so you're not going to be using your grounded options as much. But you have to be comfortable with taking up space of where they want to go. And yeah, tomorrow we'll get a little bit more into it. But yeah, it's the same concept of taking up space and not overcommitting. But just you have to just weave around projectiles on top of that rather than throwing out as many moves. Is that a good answer or?
Yeah, that was great.
Okay, cool. Anything else?
I got a question. Why is center stage so important?
Center stage is very important because you have okay, so when we're over here, you just have less room to move around. Okay, well, I'll try and get one where Fox is in the corner. So yeah, you basically just have less room to move around. So here, if Samsora is in a pressuring position, ZD isn't able to move back, and he has to commit to an option to get out. So yeah, that's basically it. Now there are some characters that are completely comfortable with sitting on the ledge. The Wii Fit trainer comes to mind. Samus, also another one where like it kind of like if they're completely comfortable sitting there and they're not going to move, then you do have to use a couple more tricky things to sort of, you know, force them out of there. But again, if they're sitting in the corner, you know that they're not going to move, right? So as long as you can keep them there long enough for you to approach, then it becomes predictable where they are. Whereas, and Peach also is a character that isn't very good in the corner. Like, Samsora doesn't overcommit usually when he's in the corner because he knows that he doesn't have options to get out. Peach is at her best when she does have stage control because like she has all this access to movement and that's her game plan. Other characters might not feel as bad in the corner, but Peach is really bad in the corner. So you as a Peach want to have stage to move around. So it might not be like as strong as like it was like in this Fox set to have stage control versus another character, but you as the Peach want the room to move around. You always want that because you otherwise you're getting trapped and you will be getting pressured a lot harder. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
So let's say a character is kind of comfortable in the corner. I mean, if you're in the middle, you have stage control. When should you approach, and when should you wait for them to approach?
When you have a read on what they're going to do, basically. So like there was a moment where, okay. So ZD opted to let Peach out of the corner over here, right? So it's like, okay, you would think, like Fox would want to pressure Peach on the corner here, but Fox isn't a character that has those options to like throw out a move and then dash back and really control that area. Fox is really like kind of clear cut. Like he goes for Nair up smash. That's what he's looking for, or Dare up smash or whatever, or like aims for like one quick back air or starts up tilt pressure. He doesn't have those same moves. So instead of going for one of those reads that he has been, he dashes over to the other side of the stage and is like, okay, let's just play neutral. That's what I want to do. And then he finds it. So if you don't have the options if you don't have the options to like properly pressure a character in the corner, it can be a good idea to actually give them that space. Because you just have to be mindful of, like, am I giving up damage? Am I getting hit trying to get in when they're sitting in the corner? And if I am, then maybe it's better if I back off because I have more room to move around their projectiles or whatever. Yeah, so it can be a good option to back off and not always force your way in. Just so long as you in this situation, for example, yes, he did bring Samsora out of the corner because ZD recognized, like, hey, I've been forcing my way in, like, I got myself off stage and, like, got back aired for trying to do my corner pressure, so let's back off. I wouldn't advise moving all the way to the other end of the stage as Peach. I would say, like, try and keep stage control, like, over here-ish. But he did successfully, like, get Samsora to move away. And then, like, he got hit by that. That's not, like, a very strong hit, but he did eat some damage for that. So I would have said, like, go over here rather than all the way at the end of the stage, but he's basically just trying to get Samsora into an area of the stage where he's more comfortable. So, and that's one of the things that we're going to go over in the set tomorrow with Ling Ling. Because he does, like, that is a lot of what happens. You do sort of have to, like, say, hey, villager, do you want to, like, stop throwing out fares over there, please? And then eventually they do, because if they want to successfully pressure you, they have to at least move forwards a little bit. So you sort of have to play that, like, sort of dance of, like, okay, now that they're going in, I can move in also and close that gap that they created. But we'll go into more of how to do that later. This is more like for those standard matchups of like characters that actually have to space moves against you. But
Yeah.
the fundamentals are the same. Of Peach is strong in center stage. You want to have room to move around, and you want to not overextend in neutral only when you have position. Yeah.
What about a stage with platforms like Battlefield? How does platforms come into play for stage control?
Uh, that is actually a very good question. Like, especially for floatier characters, one thing that they like to do is like they'll jump from ledge, and then they'll like the top platform gives them a place to basically stay up here on a stage like Pokemon Stadium. Um, it doesn't really allow for that as much. Like they have this platform here, but that's already more or less in the like into the stage a little bit more. The top platform is a lot higher up and is harder for Peach to cover, so it can allow characters that are floatier like an extra option. Like it makes jump from the ledge a lot stronger because the jump will get you like this high, and then you still can't cover it, and then they get to go in the center. There's actually something like around here ish with ZD and Samsora. Um, so around here, I think, yeah. So this was when like okay, it's not here exactly, but see this platform here, like it's all the way up here. If this was a little bit further in, then this jump, when he jumps from the ledge, he wouldn't still be stuck on the side. He would have this option over here, and Samsora wouldn't be able to effectively cover it. So stages like Battlefield do make that a little bit less effective in terms of keeping them in stage control, but they still have to get from that top platform down to the ground. So that's more or less where you get them. Um, Again, characters like Snake, for example, can like just pull grenades from up there, and if they just chill there, then you kind of have to be comfortable with just throwing up turnips and waiting for them to come down, because it is not good for you to go up there. You should keep in center where you are the most comfortable, rather than chasing them. But yeah, platforms do give other characters options to sort of negate how strong your corner, like how strong your stage control is. But there's like, if they ever want to interact with you, then they have to come down eventually. So yeah.
Okay. And so as a Peach player for stage control, would we benefit more from a stage with platforms or no?
Kind of less so than other characters, I find. And it like Peach sort of has to play to the enemy's weaknesses rather than her own strengths, I find. Because she falls slower than other characters, you might find it harder than like Fox, for example, to get from a top platform all the way back down to the bottom. Same thing with when you're on the ledge. Like you don't have the highest jump, so you can't just jump up and then go back to top platform. You still sort of have to play that game of like, okay, when does he let me on, or like I need to stay here and make a read to get in. So other characters might get off the ledge a little bit better than Peach can and benefit from platforms. There are some things with like, say on the Battlefield platforms. So over here, right? Let's see if I can. Okay, so if Peach is directly below the platform, then the up air actually covers the platform. So that's part of what makes Battlefield or part of what makes Pokemon Stadium a good stage for Peach, because like she can still hit this platform while staying completely safe down here. She doesn't have to commit to anything to get like a Fox off of the platform here. So that's why ZD has to keep moving, because Peach can still pressure it. And one thing I like to do is do the up air and then up tilt right afterwards. Can throw their timings off. Yeah, so again, Peach sort of has to play to other characters' weaknesses rather than strengths, her strengths of her own. So campier characters, I like to take away the platforms because then like they can't run to them as much and they don't have as many places to hide. So Snake, Villager, Duck Hunt, I would take to FD and not to Battlefield. And same with Samus. I wouldn't want to play against the Samus on Battlefield, especially because they can up B. Like if they have stage, then they can just up B to the top platform and they're safe. So against campier characters, I would take away the platforms. But against other characters, like she can still pressure the platforms as well. And if they can't camp her, going up to those platforms, then it doesn't really make a huge difference whether the top platform is there or not. Like against Mario, for example, like it doesn't matter if it has a top platform. It might be slightly worse for you to get comboed, but otherwise it's like you also get combos off of those platforms. So yeah, it doesn't make a huge difference. It's just a matter of does the other character benefit more from them, is what I'd say.
All right, great answer.
Cool. Anything else?
That's it for me.
Cool.
That's it for me as well.
Sweet. So we can play a few matches, though that was like a little bit longer, so I would just do like maybe a few and then just get used to like playing a couple. Yeah, just get used to using your movement more. Though I would want to make sure that you guys are like making sure you're using your fast falls and your grounded nairs a lot more, because like again, that's the kind of stuff that Peach wants to do. Like when she's playing her game, she's really good at just throwing out non-committal hitboxes where other characters want to be. So if you want to learn Peach, I would say like it's a very good option, like very good for you to know how to do that, what Samsora is doing. And then yeah, again, there's different ways of playing different matchups, and we'll go over like how to deal with projectiles a little bit tomorrow. But yeah, today it's more like still making sure you're learning these options, and I wanted to highlight today what the strengths are of Peach and what you should be doing. So did you want to play a few games, or can call it here?
Hell yeah!
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Let me just plug my lamp.